Hi, folks. Welcome back. So we're going to continue on our ranch house, and we put all the windows on last time. I don't have mine on just because I was showing it, but your job was to put your windows on, and that leaves us with basically 5 things left to do, and we're going to call this thing done without finishing interior walls, but that's the way it goes. We're going to put on the garage door, the front door, the back slider door, and then we will put on some soffit in the eaves and some fascia board, kind of so you learn that terminology, and then we're going to call it a day. So we're going to go ahead and make the garage door, and we're going to play around with it to get it to look right. So kind of we're here learning, it's more about 3D modeling now than it is about construction, but we want to make it look cool. So we're going to start by going plus symbol and create a new part studio. And before we do anything else, let's rename that and call it just garage door, so you know where it is. And we'll sketch on, let's sketch on the right because we're going to make the profile first. So we'll sketch on the right side. P turns off planes, N gets normal. And I already measured it. It's about 82 inches worth of space. And it should be 16 inches long or 16 feet long. We'll make sure that I have that right. So let's start by drawing a rectangle down here at the bottom. And we're going to make that rectangle, let's make it a 1.5. Now, garage doors are not 1.5 inches thick, even though they might look like it. They're really thin aluminum, but they're bent in such a way, or they're sometimes insulated. And the other one is going to be 20 inches. And we're going to make 4 panels this way. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave off just a little bit of the top part just to give it some definition. Because I'm going to make this as if it's one solid piece, but we're going to put some definitions in there. So actually, I just rethought this whole thing. We'll do this how we did this kind of with the siding on the house. Changed my mind. Let's go change this to 80 inches high. Yeah, we'll change it to 80 inches high. So we got a 1.5 by 80 inch rectangle. All right, now we'll do the grooves kind of like we did before with those 4 pieces. So we're going to come up here. And I'm thinking that I'm looking at it from my right is going to be the front. So I'm going to make that little triangle kind of like we made before. But same thing coming in where I'm just attaching it to this line, dragging in, going to go to 0.25. And then we're going to come down and just hook up to the line. Okay. And we will make this dimension. Sorry, let's find dimension from that point to that point will be 1. And then we're going to go ahead and dimension from the top this time, from the top here to the bottom there as 20. And again, we'll make 4 panels. Now we're going to pattern this part that we just made by dragging a box around it. So I'm highlighting just those parts, and I'm going to pattern that with a linear pattern. And we're going to go, now right now it's making 3 of those. I only want 1 going in the horizontal direction. So I'm going to click on that and make that just 1. The other way though, I'm going to make 3 of them because to split it into 4 panels. So now, whoops, I don't know why that didn't happen. I want 1 of those. Enter. I think I didn't hit enter. There we go. Okay, now I have 3. My spacing is 1. So I'm going to change that to 20. We should have 20, 20, 20. There we go. Where we will have 4 panels. If you zoom in, you can see them. Good deal. And finally, left clicking sets that pattern. Now it's kind of a mess, hard to see, but you'll be okay once we extrude that. I need to go and make sure that my open space is indeed 16 feet. So let's measure that from that face right there to this face right there. Should be, let's move me, 192, 16 feet. So 192 inches will work. Okay, back to my garage door. I am going to finish this sketch and extrude, and it should extrude basically around those little notches. Let's find out. And before you click OK and make sure they all showed up, and they did. Cool. Okay. And we're going to go 192 inches. Doesn't really matter which way you go. Good deal. And there is our basic garage door. Now, it's going to get a little interesting to see how this goes. We're going to put those little panels in there that you see in garage doors that make it look cool. I mean, we could do this whole flat thing, but I think that what we'll do is we'll usually divide. Oh, heck, let's go to Google Images and let's just look up 16-foot garage door. And boy, that's got a lot of panels to it. So this has 8. So it has 8 in 4 panels. So I think that's what we'll do is we'll put 8 little panels. All right. Now let's go ahead and go back. Oh, I think that you guys didn't see what I was just doing. Just Google image searched because I'm only recording this tab. So it had 8. I think I'm going to do 3 panels on each side. I think that's what's going to look good. We can play around with it, or maybe you can do whatever you want. One of the things I want to do is there's the middle. I want to make sure that I'm going to put a rectangle on the middle. So I'm going to sketch onto one of these surfaces. And again, we're going to pattern it. And I'm going to draw just a rectangle. Well, first of all, I need to know where the middle is. So I'm going to use project, hover around until you see the middle. Get that in there so we know where it is. Now we're going to sketch a rectangle. Now, it doesn't matter really where it is because we can play around with it and move it around and go there would be fine. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it like that. And I can go back and adjust in Sketch 2 if I want to make this a little bit different. So I need to leave that there. So I'm going to be good with that. Leave that sketch. Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to now section. I'm going to hover over this part, right click, and I'm going to hit section view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this in. Right now, it's not showing me. Uh-oh. It's ignoring some things. Okay, hold on. Let me get out of this. Let me click on the face that I want to section. So we're going to rotate around and we're going to choose this face right here. Right click and say section view. Now that should bring us up with an arrow that I can use, which is good. And I want to go to, let's see if I can choose a point here. I want to go to that line. And it's not letting me do that. Okay, that is not good. Okay, hold on, folks. I'm going to figure this out. Trickier than I thought. So bear with me. We're learning together, and we're going to see if this works. I think I want to zoom. I'm going to do this again where I hover over. So I'm looking at that edge, right click and say section view. Now I'm going to drag my arrow until I'm inside of that rectangle that I made. I need to make sure that I'm well inside of it, because if later on I drag to a different place, that's going to be bad news. Now that I've gotten that, I'm going to sketch. It's not going to let me sketch on that view. All right, that's not going to work either. Here we go. I know what I want to do. Right click, turn section view off. Thank you for kind of bearing with me. I'm not sure why this plane looks a different color, because that's where the sketch is, I guess, that I haven't used yet. If I turn that off, I wonder, yeah. So here's where I'm going to go. Okay, follow with me now. We're going to make a plane. It might be in a drop-down menu for you. I'm going to hover over this edge, click, and I'm going to drag that plane so that that plane is inside of my rectangle that I made. Okay. Now I'm going to say, okay, that looks good. Now I am going to go ahead and section view. No, I'm not. I'm going to sketch on the plane that I just made. Sketch on this plane. Okay. Now we're going to section view. So I'm going to come over here again to the end, right click, section view, and you're going to click on this plane to get to the plane that we are now sketching on. Okay, good. Now I need to project this edge so that I can see where I'm going to start. So I'm going to click on this top line. Click. That's going to put, oh, it could not sketch entities. Let's try this point. So I'm going to use this point right here. There we go. So it needed a point, which is fine. Now I'm going to click on the view cube on the left. Let's escape to make sure I'm looking straight at this and that I'm seeing that little point right there. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to make that same panel that we made before. We're going to go in 1/4 of an inch so that we're making our panels. So line, I'm going to hook up to that point that I just made, come in 0.25 and down until you're hooking up with this. Now may not be hooking up with the line. It might just be showing that I'm lined up with the top vertically. Click. Now I do want to go back and enclose this by clicking on the original place. Okay, and we're going to dimension like we did before, from there to there as 1. Now it should all turn black because it's held in place by that 1 point. All right. Now I'm going to finish sketch. We're going to turn section view off. Actually, no, I'm not either. I take it back. Let's hope this works, folks, because I didn't even try this ahead of time. I'm going to now sweep. This is different. I can't remember if we've used this before. Extrude will go in a straight line and sweep will follow a path. So we're going to choose sweep. Okay. I'm going to remove. It says, what face or region do you want to sweep? And I'm going to choose sketch 3. Now I turned it off, but I should have that profile. Click. Okay. Sweep path. Now you have to click on that. And then you're going to choose this rectangle that's going, uh-oh, why did that look weird? It's going around until all of it is chosen. We should have it work. Say okay. Turn section view off and check it out. We've got our little panel. Nice. All right. Now that that's looking good, I can go ahead and turn off the plane. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make a pattern out of that sweep. Okay, so we're going to pattern, do your linear pattern. We are going to do a, not a part pattern, but a feature pattern. And our feature pattern is sweep 1. Our direction is going to be this way for direction 1, but we're going to go also a second direction. We're going to go upward along that line. Now, right now it's making 1, but we want 3 of them. And our distance is going to be, we're just going to have to play around with it. Let's try about 20. See what happens. Now, red means it doesn't like it, so I'm going to have to probably click apply per instance. Now, that's good. So that is just the one direction, which I'm going to need 4. Now, I do know I need to go 20 inches for that particular direction. Now, right now, it's doing 2 of them. You can see them. But my distance for the first one is going to be like, let's try 24 and see how that looks. Okay, now it's going the wrong direction this time. I do want it to go all to the left. So, and I'm going to do 3. Enter will give me a preview. Now, I'm going to increase my size until I like the look of it. Let's try 28. Now, there is going to be a border around the outside, so let's try 32. Okay, now there's a little bit of space. Now, watch this. I'm going to leave that way. Okay. Actually, I'm going to bring it back down to like 26. I can go adjust this later. And what I'm going to do is, because I know you see this space over here, but watch this. What we're going to do is we're going to play around with it a little bit. We're going to go back to our sketch 2 where we had the rectangle. Double click on that. Let's just stretch this out a little bit and see what happens if we stretch it out. Just a little bit. Check. Now, see how it made them longer, but it also kept the space. Now I can go to my linear pattern and increase my number to like maybe 30. Ooh, I like the look of that. Okay, so now if you're following me perfectly, great. If you'll just have to play around with it to get it the way that you want it. Now we've only done the left half, and we're going to mirror all of that to the other half. So that's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mirror some entities. We're going to choose both sweep 1 as an entity to mirror. Oh, I want a feature mirror. So one of my features to mirror is sweep 1. And another thing I want to mirror is this linear pattern. So I want both of those things. And my mirror plane is going to be that plane one that I put right into, oh, no, I take that back. Oh, I don't have a mid-plane yet. Okay, folks, we got to make a mid-plane first. My bad. Okay, we need to put a mid-plane right in the middle. And how we do that is we're going to choose plane. Instead of offset, I want a mid-plane. And I am going to click on both ends, the flat surface of one side and the flat surface of the other side. Make sure you're choosing the surface and not an edge, and that's going to put a plane in the middle. Good. All right, now I'm ready to go. So we're now going to mirror. We're going to mirror, oops, not part mirror, but feature mirror. Sweep 1. And linear pattern 1, and our mirror plane is going to be that plane that we just made. And looks good. Pretty happy with how this is turning out. All right, now just to make it look good so that the surface of the garage door isn't flush with the house, which will make it look kind of bad, I'm going to turn off plane 2 while I'm at it. I'm going to make some trim for this. And we'll do it by making just some outlines. So look here and let's sketch on just one of these flat surfaces. Not here, but just flat. Doesn't matter which one. And we are going to project or use this far outside edge. It won't give me the whole edge. So I'm just going to get a dot down here, up here, and down there. Okay. All right. Now watch carefully what I'm going to do. Just going to use my line command. I'm going to go from dot to dot. Probably could have used that top edge. Dot to dot and dot to dot with my lines. Okay. Now we're just going to make a piece of 3/4 inch trim, or actually let's make it 1.5 inch trim. So I'm going to take my line, I'm going to come click here, but I'm going to come straight over. Now I could put in my numbers now, but I'm going to do that later. Click here, go straight up and make sure I'm going straight. Okay, don't line up with that edge or it won't be right. I'm going to come up here, making sure that I'm vertical. Just click. Come over here, making sure that I'm horizontal. Somewhere in this area, click. And down so that I'm lined up with this one. Click, and then back to here. Click. Now it should have created a profile, but I don't think I enclosed over here. So I got to do one more line from there to there. Okay. Now I have an enclosed shape. Lights went off. Come on, lights. There we go. Now we're going to do some dimensioning. We're going to make that all 1.5 inches. So we're going to go from there to there. That's 1.5. We're going to go from here to here as 1.5. We're going to go from here to here as 1.5. All right. Now, we're going to extrude that out. Oops, finish the sketch. We're going to extrude that like 2 inches, I think, would work well. So we'll take that whole, oh, look, it's got different sections. So you might have to be careful where I accidentally projected other things. That might happen to you too. Make sure you get all of them, not the bottom. Make sure it comes outward. I am going to add it to the part, okay? And we're going to come 2 inches. So it's inset a little bit. Now in the real world, that's going to be inset quite a bit. In fact, let's go ahead and make it 3. If you hit check mark already, you just can go edit extrude to. All right, now that's looking good. Let's go ahead and, oh, I got one more little thing to do. Oh, and I forgot that should have come down a little bit on the side, but that's okay. I'm not even going to mess with that right now. Now notice it left these little triangles in. That's okay. Those are going to be kind of hidden anyway. All right, so let's put our rubber baffle on the bottom that kind of prevents water from getting into the garage. And we'll do that right here on the bottom. So we're going to sketch on this surface. Now, if you'll remember, we had a gap of about 2 inches because we made a door on the bottom. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a line and come straight down here. Okay, and let's come down. We'll make that an inch. Let's make that an inch down. Okay. we're going to come across an inch. Let me see if I'm thinking about this the right way. No, we're going to come across, I'm going to change this. We're going to come to 1.5. So I'm going to make that 1.5. And then we're going to come straight up until we hit that line. Now, I'm going to change something here. I'll change this first one to 1.5 also. Now, that's giving me 2 inches. So this isn't perfect. I'm going to do a little geometry here. So I'm going to choose circle and choose this midpoint of this line and go straight out to here. Now, if that's a 1.5 inch, this now is 2.25, right? So that's going to be a little bit too much. I'll go, though, if this was a true rubber little thing, it would squish. So I'm going to change this. Let's do 1.25. That'll work just fine. So that's going to represent the little rubber gasket on the bottom of the door. So let's go ahead and extrude that. Finish the sketch. Extrude. We're going to do all 3 of those profiles, but go the other way. And we're going to go, instead of blind, go up to a face and choose the face on the opposite side. There we go. And good. All right. Looking good. Let's call this part garage door, so we know what we're looking for. And let's install this into the house. We can always, before you do that, let's make it whatever color you want it. I think I'm going to make mine the same color as what I made my trim color, which I think was that. It looks like I have a sketch on somewhere. Here, turn that off. All right, I think that looks pretty good. And we're gonna install it. So let's insert. I should have, there's my garage door, and I'll expand it to get the garage door. Bring it in. Looks like I'm upside down and or backwards. So I'm going to flip it around just to get myself where I want it to be and how I want it to look. Let's hope I'm not upside down. Nope. And I'm going to install it. Just one little click should do well, or one fasten mate. Fasten. And I'm going to choose that corner. And that corner. Hey, that is looking pretty nice. Looking like a nice little garage door. Now, however, we need to make some trim for that to make it kind of match the rest of the house. So let's come to this garage door. Get out of my fasten thing. Right click on that and say I want to edit in context. And because it's a part studio, I should be able to do that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the trim for that. So using what I have, I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to start on this piece. Let's do what we would do in the real world. And we're going to make what's called a reveal. A reveal means that it is going to show a little bit of that trim to give it a little bit of depth. So let's go ahead and sketch on this surface right here. And we're going to start, see how that little midpoint shows up? We're going to start our line on that midpoint of that line. And then we'll come out. I believe the other one pieces were 2 1/4. So we're going to go click, call it 2.25, enter. Okay, so notice it's going to leave some of it there and not some. We're going to go up above. Make sure that we are vertical. So right now it's showing that I am actually perpendicular to the first line, which is fine. Okay, we'll deal with sizes later. Now we're going to make sure that we are horizontal, and it is. And I'm lined, I don't want to be lined up vertical with that other one. So make sure just the horizontal shows up. Click. Okay. I'm going to zoom down here, and we're going to line up with this midpoint, come over. Now I don't even need to know, as long as I'm lined up, and I need to make sure I'm vertical. There we are, lined up with both of them. Click, and we're going to come to the midpoint of that. Click. All right, now I am enclosed, but I want to do, because I'm going to continue to do my reveal, I'm going to continue to go around straight up till I'm about in the middle of that. Click. We're going to go all the way to the other end, making sure I'm horizontal. Undo is your friend. Now I'm perpendicular with one line and horizontal to that midpoint below it, which is what I want. Click. Be careful what you're looking at. And down here to this point where I started. Click. Okay, now I need to make sure that I'm adjusting some sizes. I know that I was 3/4 of an inch in, but over here I need to dimension that. From this part of the frame to this line is going to be 0.75, 3/4 of an inch. Okay. The other one should already be lined up that way. It is, but now I need to dimension from where the line's going to be. Be careful that you're looking at the right thing. Okay. The trim from that edge to that edge is going to be 2.25. And the same thing on the other side. From where the edge is going to be to the opposite edge, 2.25. Okay. All right. Now we are ready to say, okay, finish that sketch and let's extrude that. And it looks good. I'm showing what I want to show. Click, look at it, make sure it is what it's supposed to be. It's got that little bit of a reveal. Oh, nope, it doesn't. See, I'm glad I looked at it because I need also this inside. There we go. And it should be going to a depth of 0.75, and we're making sure it's coming outward, which it is, and good. All right, and now we can go to our assembly. We've got our garage door with the trim. Beautiful. All right, get to where I can see your name in the garage door, take a picture of that, and next time we'll work on the front door. Okay, folks, see you then.